All right, welcome back to Tea with HRT. Joining us today are Ariana and Farron, fresh from their first SHRM experience, here to share some key takeaways. And we're also joined by Eileen, who isn't just attending, she spoke twice at SHRM and is going to give us a peek behind the curtain of what it was like to be on stage.
Before we get started, I'd like to kind of give a little bit about our featured guest today. Farron, one of our directors of HR, who is deeply committed to navigating complex HR challenges with passion and precision. Welcome, Farron.
Thank you.
Ariana, another one of our talented HR directors who uses her MBA to lead with energy and a people first mindset. Hi.
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 And finally, Eileen's our CEO and founder of HR Transformed, who uses over 25 years of experience in HR and business strategy. She brings real world insight to the stage.
Hi.
Hi.
So I think the biggest question to start off with for all of you who attended SHRM, what was it like attending for the first time? Brenda, Farron, and Ariana, if you want to kick off with that.
Yeah, I can get started. I attended SHRM for the first time this year. It was supposed to be last year, but I couldn't. But it was very different from the other conferences that I've been to. Very big. It can be very overwhelming. For the first time attending SHRM, I recommend you just feel it out, right? Like, don't feel like you have to visit every booth because you can't. I think there's like thousands of booths that you can never go to. So, yeah, that's how I felt.
I love the space this year. I felt it was exactly what SHRM needed. I wish every state had a space like that. I also felt like for the how big it was so well organized. So even if there was something that you wanted to attend that you couldn't attend, the app was readily available to show you, well, this is what you can attend instead. And I felt that the most of the speakers that I saw, they came across very strong and educated on their topic. So it was a very pleasant experience for me.
I think for me and any other newbies that are attending SHRM, I think it can be very overwhelming, transparently, because there's a lot of sessions. And so if you're listening and you're anyone like me, I honestly encourage you to just pick the few ones that really stand out to you. Don't feel like you need to go to everything or fill in every moment of time, because you can kind of feel that pressure and you're there to learn, but don't burn yourself out. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed during my first term was just meeting other HR people who all are very similar. A lot of times when you're working, you feel like you can be in your own silo or like, oh, nobody knows what I'm talking about or what this feels like. They're not doing their open enrollment. What the heck? But to be in a room full of people who can be like same or exactly, that was honestly like invigorating.
Eileen's is a SHRM vet. How did this one stack up?
San Diego was just so perfect. I mean, the weather was amazing. We were able to get up in the morning and go on a long walk by the water, look at the boats, get coffee at these really quaint coffee shops along the path of walking. Everything was just really, really walkable. And I think that was a big win for Sherm this year. And like the weather, like I said, was just prime. It was like San Diego at its best. And then having gone by myself last year and this year having three other team members, when you're by yourself, it is absolutely a different experience than when you're with other people. So if I have a call out, sort of a call to action for folks who are going on their own, is team up, or people who are like us, like we brought in solo Sherm goers into our group at certain points. Like, hey, we're all going to be at the concert Tuesday. Do you want to sit next to us? Do you want us to save you a seat? Right. So I think that's a big call out that we were able to do that nobody really did with me last year, but I was able to do that kind of organically and absolutely join those groups of like solo Sherm goers because they're also creating meetups and dinners and concert seat holding. So I had a really, really good time this year.
And your networking, which was a great opportunity.
Mhm.
So I think before we get into Eileen's what it was like speaking, If everybody could share like a highlight, like what was your favorite part of SHRM, a key takeaway, a key moment that was huge for you?
I would love to start this one.
I was gonna say.
Mine was Joe Biden. And I will say, obviously, it's because not everyone in the United States or in the world can say I got to see a former president or a current president speak. So that in itself is great. But his message was so clear and it really resonated with me, especially like as a leader at HRT and for other leaders to hear. I think it's one of the things he talked about was leading with like a family first mentality or like with the understanding that work is not the only thing that someone has going on in their life. I feel like we easily forget that. As humans, it's like we get, especially me, we get so all in what's going on. And so being able to lead with that, like, it's okay if you have a doctor's appointment, or like, it's okay if you are prioritizing your kid going to swim practice. And that even the president of the United States did that with his team. That was honestly a great message, and I loved it. And I didn't know what he was going to talk about, which I think was really special because I'm like, okay, you've been a senator since you were like 28 or something, so young, essentially like a few years apart from me. And you spent your whole life in politics. So what are you going to contribute to me? But it's like he really understood like the core of our work. And it was great to see that.
I felt like this year the focus was also automation and how to work with AI instead of against it. And there was some things that I realized that we really could automate, like time off, approvals, we could, or time card approvals, things like that, I mean, of course, that comes with some caveats because you do want to review the timesheets, but for really big companies managing a lot of people, I would always think that that's not doable, and I realized that it is with the right HRIS system or the right software. So I felt like this year a lot of it was automation, and I got some good ideas in terms of like how I can bring it back to the client. So that was a aha moment for me. And then of course I felt like a lot of the big speakers, they humanized HR, which was really important. I felt like similar to what Ariana said, they really were able to understand the core of human resources, and it wasn't just someone up there on stage. It wasn't like a celebrity, like, oh my God, what are they going to talk? They really did humanize what we do on a daily basis, which was so important to me because at the end of the day, we are human.
Brenda, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part of SHRM was seeing Vitali do her talk on perfectionism. I didn't think like a single talk could really stick with me that much for the past little bit since returning from SHRM. I kept repeating that one line she was saying throughout her presentation, and that was to keep your head where your feet are. And I keep repeating that to myself, and I'm like sharing that with those around me as well. And it does make a big difference to I don't know, just to think like that. Yeah.
I love that the core focus of like a human resource conference is about people, which I think speaks to so much of like why we do what we do.
Mm.
And transferring that of like the idea of people in the workplace and valuing people. Eileen, do you want to get into what your speaking opportunities, multiple, were about and how that was?
Yeah, before I do that, I just want to sort of add on to what everyone said because there was something that resonated with me. There was a lot of talks on AI and on people, on this perfectionism and all of this. And the big takeaway from me from all the talks that we sat in was that one phrase, and I hope I'm saying it right. If it's if you can automate it, it's AI. If it's emotional, it's a human being, right? Like it's HR. So that, like, I keep using that all day, every day in trying to just make us more efficient HR people and more effective HR people. So, kind of on the vein of what all of us are saying, that was the huge, like, whoa, mind-blowing thing, aha moment for me at the conference listening to everybody talk. But yeah, um, I did not know what to expect getting on a stage at SHRM. I didn't know where my stage was until the app sort of like led me to it. I didn't know what was going to be around. And, I think that the nerves of speaking on the biggest HR stage I would feel in the world was very humbling and such an amazing opportunity. So nerve-wracking when I got to like my first location and I was like, whoa, we're like in the SHRM store. We're like in this beautiful like greenhouse. It was like all lit up and so many people, and it was an amazing opportunity because I had so many more people just kind of sit down or pass by and stop to listen to the talk. And that first talk in the morning was just like that, like punch in the gut, like, okay, this is happening. Um, I had one of those like snafus, like this totally my moment. I could not see the confidence screen. So
Mm.
I had no idea how much time I had left. I had no idea what my slides were because I couldn't see it. There was like a glare coming
Oh,
from
yeah,
Oh.
fun.
because we were like in this solarium, like this greenhouse, right?
Mhm.
So I have like no idea what my time is, and I'm like looking behind me to see what slide I'm on. And so I was kind of like rattled, and I don't think anybody could really tell except for you guys because you all know me so well. But I had such a good time because the reactions from the audience were what I was feeding off of, and people writing notes and the individual that spoke that wrote about us at the HR dive like captured the talk so ridiculously well, like amazing job there. Um, but I really what I really loved about the talk and what everybody got out of it was the comments I got afterwards were, wow, like we talk about this all the time, but we are absolutely mostly hybrid because some people are remote and some people are in an office and we're always working from different places. And we don't really think about how we behave with each other in those moments. And even after that first talk, I had some people coming over to me and I was able to help someone live time with a situation that they were having based on something I was talking about. And so to me, that was like so rewarding that after that, I was able to help a one-on-one, like specific situation. And then the second talk, same talk, was outside. And as I approach, I was like, wow, there's a lot of people here. They weren't all there to see me, which was like, oh my gosh, I felt really like afraid. But it was outside, right? Like the backdrop is a marina and it's so beautiful. The weather was cool and we were under a tent. The sound, and I could see the board, I could see how many minutes I had left. And it was the same talk, but then, we had the woman from Crunch Fitness there, Pam, and she was writing something about us, writing something down. I met with the University of Texas people there were there, and I thought that they were writing things down and reached out afterwards. And I think the big takeaway in general is that we need to treat each other like humans and be inclusive in terms of like being in an office or not, being remote or not, and kind of meeting us where we are at in terms of our work. And one of the messages that I continue to repeat when I meet with people in my coaching sessions is when you are working remote, people can't see you necessarily, but they can feel you. They feel you in your outcome, in your communication cadence, in how you show up on paper, right? Like, are you
Yeah.
using too much AI in your work that showcases maybe you're not there or you're not present? Or are you adding enough to a conversation or an update or something that shows that you are involved, right? Depending on how businesses handle their hybrid work, you either see people or you just feel them. And I think that that's one of the bigger takeaways that I've kind of talked about with some other folks who have asked to like summarize the learnings. And I'm like, that's it, right? How we treat our work environment, hybrid or remote, is all about like seeing and feeling the output, but also like remembering that we're human. We're not just some robot at home working on something. We're actual people who want to feel valued and special, and it's important that we take note of that, right? Show your hands, make sure you're not typing or doing something else while I'm talking to you when we're remote. And don't leave me out because I didn't go to the office that day. Make sure you're communicating with everyone. And even if you're a fully remote environment, don't forget to send notes out when you have meetings because people don't know what was said or what was shared and can celebrate wins or just have very important information that they wouldn't have had if because they didn't attend that meeting. So that's that was a takeaway.
definitely going to share or link the HR Dive article um anywhere, like either in the description or something, because the editor did such a great job, like the writer did such a great job covering the whole thing. Like she covered things that we even forgot you mentioned during the presentation. So we'll put that there.
Awesome.
I'd love to turn it over to Ariana, Farron, and Brenda. Of like, what was that like watching your like founder of your company get on such a big stage and have such a big impact?
um I can go first. Was actually it was very, like, I was very proud, honestly, to see Eileen's on the stage, just because a year ago she was like, I wish I could speak at SHRM even once. And then here we are this year, like she's speaking twice, and she had two spotlight stages, and I'm running around with the camera taking pictures of her, and I'm like, this is actually happening. It's really cool. So yeah.
Mhm. I think it, like Brenda said, I was just really proud. It also was really inspiring. I feel like I want to find something that it's like groundbreaking to me, and I really want to share it with other people and maybe coach them through something difficult that we all kind of share. And I also think it was really great the second stage, the one that was outside. Eileen's had someone who's from Thailand. So like that was really, really awesome that like someone who we probably would have not reached, like her audience is now like international.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was also really nice to see people taking notes. I felt like I was like, yeah, you taking notes of
Better
what
write
she's
that down.
saying. And like, it was really interesting because the person next to me was taking like vigorous notes. And then like, there were people who were managing the stage, and one of them was thought I what Eileen's was saying. It you could tell he was like nodding his head and laughing, really connected with him. So clearly whatever she was talking about, it was reaching everyone in the workforce, not just managers and not just, direct reports or only specific departments. I think he was in charge of making sure your screen kept following you. He was like, yeah, this makes sense. So it was really cool to see like there's someone from Thailand like absorbing your information. The person who is in charge of making sure your screen is going is absorbing and connecting with you. And that was really cool to just see how one person can bring a lot of people together and spread their knowledge. So it was cool. It was awesome.
And so I would also want to say thank you to everyone sitting here for helping me develop the presentation and also helping develop the topic and the outcome. And in true Eileen's fashion, up until the last minute, I was changing some things. Like Brenda will watch that for the first time, and it was so funny. She's like, "Oh my gosh, we're changing everything." It's like 15 minutes before we get on
I
stage, and
was
I'm
like,
here.
"Are you sure you want to just leave it?" And she's like, "No, I have to put this in here."
Uh-huh.
And then she
Yeah.
gets on stage and she couldn't even see the screen. And I'm like, "Oh no."
I
But
know the
couldn't
way that
tell.
I talk is so in the moment. It's
Yeah.
so hard to be scripted. So I think that's another big takeaway is like I'm an in the moment talker and other people can go by like a script. So I will never forget that Sarah was like, I don't you remember you're just like a go with it kind of gal. Like, why don't you just put bullet points or just a photo of something? Like she has to remind me what's the best way to work. And it's just that moment of inspiration, right? So I just want to say thank you for all of you for not only like helping, right? And so like I have to get on stage and I have to do it and I have to talk from my soul, right? I go into my flow mode when I'm up there, but also to be there with me. And I know Sarah wasn't there, but the rest of the team was there. And I know Sarah was there in spirit. She was like cheering us on. Brenda,
Oh, I was on the Instagram all day going,
Mhm.
Brenda, update it. Brenda,
Yeah.
I want to see.
and just having that time, them there and some faces to look at. I kept zeroing in on Farron actually, and then like I watched Brenda float around, and then I saw Ariana giving me the faces.
Like
That
you're
was so
doing great,
helpful.
sweetie.
And then afterwards, for us to just like decompress together and like share in the moment. We had a nice dinner that night. Like that for me was also worth it, right? Like for to have this team be such a part of an important goal I had in my life. I just want to say thank you to all of you for being part of that.
Aw.
Of course.
I think like something also important to highlight is even like Rose and I and Monet, who didn't go, like we could feel the energy of the team be so much more connected when everybody came back from SHRM. Like there was such a highlight of energy and connectedness, which I think leads me into one of like our last questions as we're heading towards the end. Um, anything, so like we always are looking and doing these as professional development. Any quick wins or insights as we're looking forward to client development or your work with employees that you think is a huge take back?
Mine goes hand in hand with what you just said. I feel like remote work is great. Clearly, I love it. I'm remote today, but I encourage everyone to like have those in-person moments with their team that don't necessarily like feel forced because it was a really great experience, especially to connect with Brenda, who's in Canada. So like to be able to kind of get a feel for her personality and like now we have inside jokes. I feel like there's a great part of in-office culture that we miss sometimes in remote, which is like that, oh my gosh, we joked about something by the water cooler and now we're going to laugh about it for the rest of time. Like we joked about something at Nobu and now we're going to laugh about it forever. So it's really enjoyable. And so really encourage teams to just take a minute to think about can they fit in-person time with their team because I do think there is a benefit to it.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of going off of that, I have friends who are in remote environments, and then whenever there's like a offsite, they're like, I don't really want to go because I don't have that connection. I'm like, but you should go just once, and you'll find that these are other just they're all people, right? Like they're not just people on a screen, but like they're people that you can actually connect with, and you spend more time with them than you do your family, honestly. So
Mhm.
So before we cheers to the end of the episode, I'm gonna go around and ask everybody what are you drinking. So I'll start with my lovely co-hostess with the mostest, Brenda.
I've already finished my coffee today, so I just have my ice water.
Thanks. All right, Farron, I'm gonna head to you next.
I have my ice water from Paycom.
Shout out to Joel.
Shout out, not sponsored.
But
All
open
right,
to being
Ariana, I
sponsored.
have a feeling yours might be similar.
I also have the same thing, and it is lemon water. No surprise there, but the cup is different and I love it.
Great cup.
Eileen's.
I have my decaf coffee with caramel creamer.
Mm,
Awesome. And
thank
then I
you.
am still nursing a cold brew from this morning.
Oh my
Just for
God.
anyone wondering, it is like 1:30 when we're recording this, if that puts any highlight on everyone's reaction to that statement. So, we're gonna cheers to all of the success and bonding at SHRM and to continue that energy into the future and second quarter of our year. Right.
Awesome. All right.
Cheers.
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 Thanks for sharing a cup with us today on Tea with HRT. We hope today's episode brought you some laughs, fresh insight, and practical takeaways you can use. If you enjoyed this blend of conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little extra warmth in their workday. Follow us on Instagram and send your thoughts or topic suggestions to tea at hrtransform.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your mug full, your spirit warm, and your conversations brewing. This is Tea with HRT, where work meets warmth.